Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On It. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On It. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On It. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 Who You With Kurt, dog.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday to you. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt, dog. I'm Who You With Kurt, dog. Man, what a weekend, what a weekend, what a weekend. Tonight we have a special guest in the house. If you read the title, Rico Alexandra, better known as Dope Boy to Hope Boy. So we're going to hear from him tonight, going to talk about his testimony and find out some great things he's doing here in Dallas. So welcome to the show, Rico. How you doing?
I'm good. MC Kurt Dog. Yeah.
I seen you over there doing the prep, but I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So yeah.
Man,
well,
that's great.
I'm glad you invited me to the show. I appreciate the invite. So just ready to lock in and get it rolling. Happy Sunday to everybody.
Most definitely. We actually talked about doing this a couple of months back, and but time got away. So, but we're here tonight. So, welcome to the show, T Cal. Thank you for being a faithful listening, always tuning in. So, man, when I read the name Dope Boy to Hope Boy, where that name come from? I'm sure a lot of people is asking the same question. I'm curious myself.
Oh man, it's a long story, long road, but I'm gonna give you the cliff note version of it, right? Actually, from a dope boy to a hope boy originated. I guess I come up with the name about what a year ago or something like that, and so it just kind of stuck with me. But the reason that I titled myself From a Dope Boy to a Hope Boy is because there was once upon a time, right, that I was in the dope game. I mean, the name is self-explanatory. Over 25 years ago, right, 1995, 1996. I was out there in the dope game, right? I was a young man in my late teens, age of 20 in 1996. I ended up catching my second felony drug case, and from there I ended up spending 4.5 years in prison. Throughout those 4.5 years in prison, a lot of things had changed, right? And even midway into my sentence, my beloved mother, rest her soul, she passed away from brain cancer while I was doing my bid, and so one of the most painful things, even out of that 4.5 years was I couldn't be by my mama's side, going through what she was going through, battling her the toughest fight of her life, right? And her son, right, her oldest son, couldn't be there, for her, or be there to just even support her. So I mean, it was tragic, and traumatizing on my end, So I I carried that weight for a long time, man. Even after I got out of prison after 4.5 years, I was released in 2000. Excuse me, I was released in 2001, and due to unforeseen and unknown circumstances, because I didn't get any rehabilitation while I was in prison, I reverted back to what I knew, right? And what I knew very well was how to make a living in the dope game, And so I ended up reverting back to that, right? And so I just I didn't know any better, right? And at this time I was like 25 years old, and so um, I I just did what I knew how to do, man. And somebody introduced me to church, right? And they was like, "Hey, come to church with me," and I was like, "Do what?" Right? I mean, do you? I mean, it was. Do you know what you know what we just came from, right? You know what we just been. You know what we just done, right? And so I'm like, what do you mean? Let's go to church. And no. And so I brushed it off, man, for maybe a couple of weeks or so, and she was just persistent, right? Like, hey, just come to church, right? And so okay, whatever, right? And so I ended up going to church, man, and I was in the church for I guess about 18 months, right? I was still, doing my thing, man. I was going to church, coming home, when I leave church, I'm selling my dope, right? You know what I mean? And so I was living this double life, right? On one hand, I'm portraying to be, this good guy, trying to go to church and trying to, act like I got everything together, and, making it seem like I was, Lorenco Alexander, right? You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
so but on the reality was I was going out and I was just doing my dirt, right? And so eventually, man, God just kept, pricking on my conscience, man. And like 18 months later, like I said, I mean, it was like I just had a vision, like God was saying, hey, either you're gonna get out of this game, right? You either gonna, this time right here, you either gonna die, you gonna get out of it, right? And this I got,
One
I
way
mean,
or
this is how
another.
it was being presented to me, just this plain, right? You gonna get out of it, right? But this way right here, you either gonna die this time, or you gonna face more time than you can handle, right? And that's gonna kill you. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
um I wrestled with that, man, for probably uh maybe a month or so, man, and I just came to a breaking point, and I was in church one day, man, and I just said I can't do this anymore. And so,
Mm.
man, I still had drugs at home or whatever, and I was like, I don't know what I'm finna do. I had a little piece of a job, right? But because I was a felon, I mean, I wasn't making, probably when I first came home, I wasn't making but $7.75 an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So you take care of family with that, right? You know what I'm
It's
saying? And
hard.
so right, and so I didn't really know what was gonna transpire after that, man. I was just like, okay, God, you if you really telling me to do this, then okay, right? I'm gonna have to trust, and you're gonna have to come through, right? Because this is my livelihood. I mean, this how I make this my bread and butter. This is how I make a living right now, And so, I mean, when I did, man, I went home and I talked to God some more. I wrestled with God some more. And so, man, I took what I had, man, and I flushed it down the toilet, man. And I was just like, I washed my hands of it, and I was like, okay, God, now I done what I felt like you have asked me to do, right? I'm new to all this Christian stuff. I'm new to following you. I'm new to all of this stuff. I don't really know what I'm doing, right? And so I'm really just out here on the faith, right? I'm really out here on faith, just okay,
Trust in
God,
him.
come through. You know what I'm saying? If you who are not even who I say you, who they say you are, because I really don't know you like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you really are who they say you are, please come through. And from that point on, man, I've never touched drugs again, man. And so I walked away cold turkey, and the real struggle began, and so
Exactly.
I found myself, making it barely, right? I mean, I not even having enough, right? The reality was I didn't have enough. And so I ended up, going through, a bad divorce, right? And all of that kind of stuff. And so it was just one thing after another, right? And here I am. I'm like, okay, God, you told me to give this lifestyle up, and now all this hell is breaking out of my life. What's up with that, right? And so I had so many questions, you know what I'm saying? But I kept trusting God, and I eventually, found myself, meeting this other young woman, and which is my current wife right now, Joseph. We've been married long time, 12 years, man. So we've been rocking and rolling, man. And so she's really, just been a huge supporter of, anything that I've, tried to do. And when me and her got together, man, so when we had our first son, he's 11 years old, right? And so when we had our first son, I lost my job while he was in the hospital, right? Being born, right? And so here we are again, God. I'm like, God, I'm trying to get this thing together with this money, but do you want me to go back out there in the streets? And so man, from there me and my wife, we just we sat down and we was like, hey, what's up? What we gonna do? And I was like, hey, babe, I've been talking about, because I drive trucks, right? And so been driving trucks or whatever. And she's like, boy, you've been talking about you on a truck, blah blah. Let's go looking, right? And so we went out and looked for some trucks, man, and I ended up purchasing a 2000 dump truck, right? And so from then on, we started our first business, which is A-Reed's Trucking, right? And all of this is happening in the midst of chaos. We done took everything, all of our savings, credit cards, we done run them all up trying to get this truck, you know what I'm saying? And got a loan, right? Because at the time, it was like 2009 and the economy was horrible and we couldn't even get a loan. We couldn't buy a loan. You know what I'm saying?
Been there before.
Right. And so it was just one thing after another. But we ended up getting a truck, man, and we've been rocking and rolling that thing, man, for the last 11 years, man. And so each year that my son turned a year, that's when our company turns a year, right? And so from there, man, it's just been A-Reed's Trucking has really just been the base, the foundation, right? Of, of course, bringing in money, right? But I love to drive, right? But it's been the foundation of what I'm doing now, right? And so what I'm doing now is because of my mother passed away when she was 43 years old from brain cancer, right? The closer that I got to the age of 40, it just weighed on me heavily, like, why did mama have to die at 43, right? And what was mama doing that did she do something to cause her to, check out early? I mean, I know it was God's time, but could mama have done some things differently, right? As it pertained to her diet, right? And so I just started researching, right? And I'm researching what I need to, put in my body, right? And so I just kind of started doing a tons of research, man, as it pertains to cancer and things of that nature. And plus, I didn't state that I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes as well around 2011. You know what I'm saying? I was a big old fella. I was about 250 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And so that played in my mind as well. So I mean, there's a lot of things that transpired uh, from getting from being a dope boy to a hope boy, right? And that's right now, and that's what I do. I use my platform to promote uh, healthy eating options, right? And
Okay.
go ahead.
So let me ask you a question. First of all, I want to welcome Reverend Andre Anderson to the show. For some reason, the comments are not showing up on Facebook. He said a powerful testimony. Praise God, brother. Uh,
Bless you, bless you. I know Andre. What's up, Andre? What's up, bro?
Andre is a good brother. Been knowing him
Mhm.
for, pretty good while. I
Right,
think I've been
right,
at
right,
Friendship West for almost 19 years, 20 years, something like that.
right.
Um, but so you said you did 2 terms in prison,
No, I did one. I did four and a half,
4.5 years.
4.5 straight. Yeah.
Okay. And because people come to me all the time, talk about prison reform and stuff like this,
Mhm.
and it seems that they don't have no plans for you. It's just basically a revolving door, because if you don't give someone a plan to get out there to do something better, what's gonna happen? You gonna eventually come back through there again, and they like, hey, free labor.
Right.
But at least with you, you had the mindset that, you know what, I'm not going back. If they not gonna give nothing to me, I'm gonna make my own way. And that's
Right.
basically what I'm hearing from you. Started with your trucking company 11 years ago,
Right.
which is a powerful thing. I've been in the trucking industry for over 20 years. So it's definitely a good field to be in. But I appreciate you for giving your testimony, because hopefully, if it's someone out here that have gone through down this road and trying to find a way to make it, hopefully this testimony will be able to help you make it, because I know you're not the only one that said, you know what, I'm making the decision not to go back to prison.
Right.
I have to do something to provide for my family and I. And I thank God for your wife, your current wife, for the simple fact it take a strong woman to have the backbone of a brother. So
Mhm.
I really appreciate it for that. Now you talked about hefty eating, and you mentioned that you used to be 250. I'm working on mine, so don't judge me. I go to
Oh, this is judge free zone, bro. Come on now.
exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. I do work out. I do take the steps. I was telling my wife today. I said my head looks smaller.
Ah, come on, then.
I've
Come
been
on.
working out, so
Right.
it's getting better. But um, with I know what you do, but a lot of other people may not realize what you do when you talk about healthy eating. And
Mhm.
so explain that to us, exactly what you do. Uh, Reverend Henderson laughing. I'm surprised he didn't say your head still big. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably said it in spirit. You felt it. You felt it.
But
Yeah.
explain to us. You said eating healthy, and I I know what you do. I've actually tasted your product, but I want you to explain to the people exactly what have you done to eat differently and what they can do.
Right, gotcha. Okay, so let me. I'm gonna just bag up just a hair, right? Okay.
Okay.
Uh, like I was stating, in 2011, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I didn't just have type 2 diabetes. I also had high blood pressure. I also had high cholesterol. So I had three different diseases, right? That was working within my body, destroying my immune system, right? Destroying pancreas, destroying my kidneys, right? You know what I'm saying? So I had all of this going on young age. I was like 33 years old, you know what I'm saying? I was about 34. I was about 34 years old, man. Young cat about to check out of here, right? And so they popped me up on all of these, you know, prescription meds and things of this nature, right? And so I didn't have health insurance, you know, at the time. And so I was like, how am I going to afford all this, right? This what this what was running through my mind, and right. And so I'm like, I just can't picture myself being on this medication for the rest of my life. And I can't picture myself paying for this medication for the rest of my life, right? And so I was like, okay, God, I need some help, right? And so what I did, man, is I took ownership of my diagnosis, right? I took full ownership, saying, hey, these are mine, and I'm the one that's responsible for eradicating these if I can, or making myself making sure that my numbers are lower than what they are right now, right? That was my frame of mind, and right. And so after I got my prescription that day, man, that followed, it was like 9 o'clock that night before I got out of Care Now. I went to Care Now, and it was like 9 o'clock when I left there, right? And if I could have went to the gym that night with my heavy fat ass, right, I would have told the gym doors open then, but I waited till that next day, man, and I went and got my prescriptions and everything, man. Still in shock, but I was like, I can't go out like this right here. I got a 2-year-old at the house, right? And so I'm like, no, this ain't time for me to check out of here. I got to make sure that I'm around for my son. And so, man, I took the diagnosis very serious, man, and believe it or not, I was off of my high cholesterol 30 days. I was off of it, right? You know what I couldn't afford that one anyway. It was like $150 a pop. Woo. I was like, nah, right? And so the high blood pressure, I took it for about 40 days off of it. The type 2, I think I was on metformin, right? And so I was on it for listen, I was on it for 7 weeks.
Wow.
7 weeks, not 7 months, not 7 years, 7 weeks, and reversed everything. Now, how do you do that? Now, that's the question right there, right?
You gotta trust
I heard that, but how, right? And so the reality was, man, I put myself on a very, very strict low carb diet, right? I took dairy, I took beef, I took pork, I took egg yolks, anything that would spike my cholesterol, I ripped it out of my diet, right? And so I started feeding myself, you know, fish and grilled chicken, things of that nature, right? And so took all the white substances, white bread, white rice, things of that nature. I eliminated it from my diet. You know what I'm saying? And so that was very difficult, you know, because I love sweets, I love cakes, pies, and sodas, and Gatorade, and all of that. And I cut all of that out my diet, right? And so was it easy? No, it wasn't easy. Hell no, it wasn't easy. That was hard to do, but I was focused on the end game, and the end game was to make sure that I was here for my son at the time, right? We only had one son together, and so my end game was to make sure that I was here for my son and make sure that I was here for my wife. We newlyweds, really. The reality, I'm like, no, I can't leave them like this here, you know. And so that was my main focus, right, on trying to get out of this hellhole that I done dug for myself. And so I ended up losing like 20 something pounds, man. It wasn't even 30 pounds, and I was off all that medication, right? And people think that you got to lose 50. It depends on how heavy you are now, right? You know, and all that stuff. So I 20 something pounds, man. I was off all of my medication, but I trained, I worked out about 5 or 6 times a day. When I went to the grocery store, I made sure that I read every damn thing on the bottles, everything on the boxes, every container, everything I picked up, every carton, anything I put in my hand, I read the back of it. I read the labels, right? You know what I'm saying? I done the hard work that I needed to do in order to reverse what I needed to reverse, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you think that, you know, in this, my Christian family, right? You know what I'm saying? We think we can just pray some of this stuff away. Now, some stuff you're not going to be able to pray away. Some of this stuff you're going to have to work away, right? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Faith without works is dead. You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up, you know, just making this huge transition, man, and it changed my life, man, and it put my life on a better trajectory, right? And so, like 2 years ago, right? A little bit over 2 years ago, I had this crazy idea in my head to go vegan. I'm like, no dairy, no, you know what I'm saying? No fish, no, nothing like no. So I was like, man, and so I was like, and I did a lot of research, man, just kind of reading up on it and seeing the health benefits and things of that nature. And I was like, well, man, what the hell? Let me try for 30 days. You know what I'm saying? I ain't if I can't do it, guess what? I can't do it. If I don't like it, guess what? I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I can stop. And so I ended up trying it for 30 days, man, and it changed my life, man. At that time, I was already, you know, my weight was already under control or whatever, you know, even at that time. And so I was roughly around about 200. Just say I was about 200 when I went vegan. And from there, shoot, I lost damn near another 20 pounds just going vegan. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even trying to lose weight. You know what I mean? It just fell off because I cleansed my colon.
Exactly.
You know, when you take a lot of that meat out of your system, bro, you be amazed at what you clean, and it needs to be clean, right? And
it need to be clean.
Yes, indeed. And so if you don't clean it, I promise you're gonna have some issues down the road, bro. Because that's that your digestive system, that's your second brain. You know what I'm saying? That's what registers everything outside of this right here. So I ended up, man, I loved it. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the experimental foods, right? Foods and fruits and vegetables that I, you know, never thought that I would, you know, be cooking or eating for that matter, right? And I enjoyed it. And so, man, it was so impactful for me. I was like, damn, I gotta find a way to share this with folk. You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up, I just in the kitchen, right? And I'm just whipping it up. Damn, I messed that up. You know what I'm saying? And went back at it again, you know, and then I would try other people's food. And I was like, yeah, man, it's okay, right? And so let me go try it myself, right? And so I go in there and I put my own little twist to it, and like, oh, damn, that ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up, man, I was like, damn, because my mama, oh, she was bad in the kitchen. She was cold, right? And so, and I be telling folks all the time, I say, man, it really ain't me. That's just my mama. She's shaking that shimmy over. You know what I'm saying? Go on, boy. You know what I'm saying? How much salt to put on? Huh? Stop. Okay.
Just a pinch.
So it's mama. You know what I'm saying? Mama DNA is just all up in me. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm taking, and I say this, and I tell this to people that this is what I believe. I believe that my mama probably had a dream to cook because she was bad in the kitchen. Anytime we had a good get together, anytime we had any type of gathering, they made sure my mama was cooking something. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so I think that maybe that could have been a passion or a dream, something for her. And it's like, okay, Rico, you pick up the torch, right? Instead of doing fried chicken, you know what I'm saying? You're going to do it vegan style, right? And you know what I'm saying? And so that's what I do right now. And so we ended up at the beginning of this year, man, I was hosting and putting on these cooking classes. And people were coming out, right? And just because they just wanted to be educated about food and, you know, wanted to try, you know, vegan food. And so we were, you know, trying to educate and, you know, and engage them and entertain them all at the same time. And so when COVID happened, you know what I mean? It was like, we can't get together like this no more.
You got to come up with a backup plan.
So what's next, right? And so after that, man, I said, well, hey, let me start, because I make some mean guacamole,
Yes, you
right? You know
do.
what I'm saying? And so you know about the guac, right? And so I said, well, let me start packaging this guacamole, right? And see what it do. And so and keep in mind, all while even though I'm not in the dope game no more, I'm still using my same tactics that I
Exactly.
used when I was in the streets, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm still hustling, making sure that, hey, I got my drive. You know what I'm saying? I
Exactly.
got my hustle, I got my flow, right? And so I'm like, I'm just gonna take the same approach that I took when I was in them streets. And so I started selling the guac, and I was selling the mess out of that guac. I mean, I'm day in and day out. Time I get out my dump truck, I'm coming home making guac. You know what I'm saying? Going to sleep at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, get back up, getting that same thing over and over, right? And so people kept hitting me up like, bruh, when you gonna get them hot plates? I love your guac, but when them hot plates coming? And so, man, they wore on me for about 2 months, man. And so I said, well, hold on, let me go down to let me go downtown, right? And so I said, let me go downtown and get my DBA, right? So I want to make myself a little legit, you know what I'm saying? And so I ended up going down there and purchased his name, Hope Boy, which you can see on the bottom of this hoodie right here. You know what I'm saying? Hope Boy. I ended up going down, purchasing the DBA, which ain't but $24. You know what I'm saying? It don't take a whole lot of money to get the name of a business. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
went down there and handled that business, man. And we opened up the kitchen May 4th, man, and we started selling hot plates, man. And the people have been very receptive. People have been enjoying the food. We've been open a little bit over 6 months. We just celebrated 6 months last week, if I'm not mistaken, on November 4th, right? The day of the election, if I'm not mistaken, or the day after the election, one of them. So it's man, and I wouldn't change it for nothing, man. People have been showing tons of support, man. I'll say this, man. Out of the 6 months that we've been open, and I've been serving each and every week, right? Each and every week, we've had new customers every week, bro. You know what I'm saying? Which is, for me, which is a good sign that the word is, getting around that we're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? And so I just feel like I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in, man. I just want to make sure that my people, right? You know what I'm saying? I have a passion for my people. And let me be more specific, Black folk, right? You know what I'm saying? I have a strong passion for my people, and even on the label of my guacamole, the label of my company is my people deserve healthy options. And you ain't got to ask no questions when I'm talking about who is my people.
Most
you know
definitely.
what I'm talking about? Because a lot of times our people, we don't know what we need to be putting in our mouths. We don't know what we need to be consuming. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how much sleep we really need to be getting on a day. To this, we really need to be drinking on a daily basis. So that's my job, right? I feel like that's my obligation to make sure that I'm sharing pertinent information for my people so that we can get out of this hellhole that we done dug ourselves in.
Okay.
And that's what Hope Boy's Kitchen has, come into play, bro.
Exactly. Reverend Anderson, he put up the name of the grok, crack grok.
Crack guac. Yes, sir.
Put it on Facebook.
Crack guac.
And I will say, I met up with him a couple of months ago, and and I got some. I was cooking some tacos or something that day. And I said, you know what? I want me some of that crack rock. So I met up with him and got it. That first container, my wife and I, we said standing in the kitchen like, God dog. I called him. I said, man, look, hey, you got us up here eating this guacamole like it's some drugs or something. But it was good. It was good. I was like, all right. So hold on, Reverend Anderson says something. I love the way you've been able to capitalize on the use of social media and remain committed to our community. Yes, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Some other good things he's doing in the community. Um, so I've actually, instead of using like ground beef or even turkey, I would use
Mm-hmm.
vegan meat instead.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell the difference. A lot of people, when they
Mm-hmm.
hear vegan meat, they be like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want no vegan meat." I was one of those people. Uh,
Right.
I was like, I want to try vegan, but I don't know if it's good or not.
Right.
And I decided I was out in Grand Prairie one day and I seen this restaurant out there called It's So Vegan. And I said, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I'm gonna stop in here and see. I ended up coming back the next day. I think I went back for the whole for the rest of that week. I didn't even have to go to Grand Prairie, but I went out there to eat for the rest of that week. And matter of fact, my wife went out there with me. And I'm like, all
Mm.
right. So now the first time I cooked it at home, I was like, all right, I'm gonna try something different. Made something that we haven't ate in years. I don't think my wife and I ever ate it. Made some sloppy joes, but I
Mm.
used vegan meat. She come
Mm.
home, she eating. She was like, "Man, this is good," but she didn't know what it was. So she said, I'm gonna grab me another sandwich. Grab another one. She ate it. She said, "Man, this is good." I said, "You like it?" She was like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, good, because that's not ground beef. That's vegan meat." She was like,
Mm.
I was like, "Yeah, vegan meat." She was like, "Okay, this is really good." So now, whenever I do dishes that call for ground beef or something like that, I will
Mm-hmm.
use vegan meat instead. You can tell the difference because normally, if you make spaghettis or something, once you eat
Mm-hmm.
spaghetti made with ground beef, you feel so bloated. But with
Mm-hmm.
vegan meat, you don't feel bloated, uncomfortable, and you can tell the difference when you have a bowel movement. Um,
Right.
it's
Right.
a complete different. So I'm like,
Right.
I do it. Matter of fact, we also um, drinking. We don't do regular milk anymore, so
Mm-hmm.
we changed that. And for myself, I just had my annual physical. Wasn't too happy about everything. I don't have high blood
Mm-hmm.
pressure or anything like that, but high cholesterol. And I said, you know what? I need to do something to change it. So I don't
Right.
drink. Uh, I never really been into real deep sweet. Now I will bake, which that's a problem within itself because
Right. Right.
I will bake something because I have taste for it. I may or may not eat it
Right.
just to make it to get the reaction from other people. So now I have cut back on. I don't drink any sodas. Haven't drunk any in a while now. Um,
Right.
so that's one way of cutting it back. Um, I made used to grab a cup of V8 Splash or something when I'm eating dinner. I cut
Mm-hmm.
that out too. So
Mm.
I drink plenty of water. Um, I drink plenty of water, and especially with the workout I do,
Mm-hmm.
it's you better drink plenty of water
You
because
better.
um, so it's always good. Welcome to the show, Eva Donkey. Um, but we're gonna pass by that one. But Eva Donkey is a long time follower. He been kicking it with us for almost 2 months. Always welcome to the show. Um, so if
So.
it's somebody that is trying to eat better and been thinking about trying vegan but don't know for sure how it works,
Mhm.
how would you recommend them to try it, or what would you recommend them to try?
First off, I think that people have a misunderstanding what vegan is, right? You know what I'm saying? Because when people hear the word vegan, their mind for some reason goes straight to just sticks and leaves, right? You know what I'm saying? And grass and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? And so I try to make sure that I paint a colorful picture to show them, you know what I'm saying, what you think you missing, you really not missing, right? And what you think you really need, you really don't need. You know what I'm saying? And so I always encourage, you know, those that follow me, those that I interact with, or those that I just even mentor, or whatever, you know, when it pertains to health and wellness, to just starting off, just remove the meat from your diet once a week, right? Just I don't try to fast track anybody, right? You know, and so if you were gonna have some chicken, some fried chicken or something this particular night or this particular day, right? Don't eat the chicken, right? Just get you a double portion of the vegetables and just one night, right? And drink extra water. You know what I'm saying? And so I try to ease them in that way, right? Also, instead of taking in the dairy, right? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to whole milk, no, just find your milk. You could oat milk, almond milk. There's several different brands, and you choose which one you prefer, right? You know what I mean? Because you can offset a lot of these diseases that we're causing ourselves, right? And let's not incorporate what the environment is adding to ailments that we face on a daily basis. So even when it comes down to like eggs or whatever, right? You know, if you know so addicted to eggs, if you eating 2 eggs, don't eat both of the yolks, right? You know what I'm saying? Eat one of the, you know what I'm saying? You know, and this like eat one whole egg and eat the other half egg white, right? And so I'm trying to wing people, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to break their neck, you know, overnight, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, and there's meat alternatives, you know what I'm saying? And it's all about, you know, how you know put your meals together, right? Just like you was talking about with the sloppy Joe, right? You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't no cook before you went vegan, you probably not gonna be no cook after you go vegan. You understand me? So,
Exactly.
but if you had any type of skills in the kitchen, you know what I'm saying, prior to thinking about going vegan, you can figure it out on how to, you know, season it, because you can use the same seasonings on, you know, Beyond Meat, Impossible Meat, whichever meat, you know, plant-based meat you prefer, right? You know what I'm saying? They have various alternatives. Gardein, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to crumbles and things of that nature, you know. So there's different brands that you can use as far as to, you know, replacing your meat and things of that nature, as it replacing your whole milk, which we need to get off there, because we the only mammals that still drinking the other milks of other mammals, which is crazy, you know. But I'm not here to judge nobody.
Exactly.
But yeah, just kind of I just try to walk them through it, man. Just incorporate more vegetables in their diet, and just try it once or twice a week without no meat, no dairy, and after that, see how your body feel. I'm a truck driver, right? And this is how I tested myself. Whenever I didn't eat meat while I was at work, I didn't get sleep. That 2:00 hour, it didn't faze me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, hold on. And I tested this theory for about 2 years, bro. I tested this theory for about 2 years, because before I went vegan, I wouldn't even eat meat in my truck for like 2.5 years, bro, prior to going vegan. So I tested the theory to I'm like, damn, it's something to this. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because anytime I put the meat in my system at 12 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, you better believe it. I'm so it's something to your body trying to break down the meat that we're, you know, putting in our system. So that's how I'll just encourage people to just test the theory. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Test it for yourself.
Reverend Anderson said almond milk is actually pretty good. Yes, it is, because when I was drinking whole milk, I stopped eating cereal, because whenever I eat cereal with whole milk, it did a couple of things to me. So one thing, I started to get sleepy a lot. I'm like, "Ugh." But with almond milk, it's actually pretty good. We do the unsweet almond milk, which is really good. I found the brand that I feel comfortable with. Uh, Even my wife, since we've been together, we always will get like 2%, whatever. But now, um, she loves the almond milk. She's like, "Hey, this is actually pretty good." So we're changing our diet on what we're doing, um, and trying to eat a healthier life. So we don't eat out much. I cook most of the deals. Well, cook all the meals and try to eat healthy. So
Right.
if I'm gonna cook, it's gonna be something healthy. I haven't bought um, any beef in a while. Um, so, but it's definitely, I will recommend anyone that is gonna get into it. Matter of fact, reach out to Rico, try him out.
Holla at your boy, cause look
Try
here. I
him out.
mean, it's all about educating yourself, man.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about that whole milk, man, and it pertains to black folks. Black folks, listen here. 75% of us are lactose intolerant. Let me let me
Yeah.
let me say that again. 75% of us, every time you put that milk, that dairy in your system, your stomach gonna do something different. You know what I'm saying? Your stomach, yeah, it ain't, you ain't got bubble. Yeah, no, your body can't digest it, bro, sis. It
It's
just,
not
and so
good.
75% of us are just lactose intolerant, right? And the numbers go lower the lighter the complexion for some reason, right? You know what I'm saying? So, so you do the math, right? And so, but yeah, we lack. Most of us are lactose intolerant, bro.
So that so definitely try changing those things. Um, Go and grab some almond milk. Um, I forgot the brand. Well, I normally get mine from Sam's. It's actually their brand, which is
Mm-hmm.
actually pretty good. And to be honest with you, uh, that almond milk actually lasts longer than the whole milk does.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Like,
oh yeah.
I was telling my wife, because we bought some about a week ago, and I was like, "Oh, this don't expire until I think the first of the year or something." I'm like, "Dude." So
Ain't got all them
definitely
hormones in it.
you could tell the difference. You
Them
feel different.
hormones killing us.
Exactly. So um, now definitely try out Rico. Try him out. Now last week, um, I went on Facebook, and it wasn't a normal time where I go on Facebook, and I was working on some stuff. So I went on there, and you was on there live, and yeah, what you been on there live, I caught part of it, and it was
Mhm.
saying and I don't know if you found the families or not that you was doing, um,
Mhm.
but he was talking about giving back to the community. Now, the weekend prior to celebrate the 6 months anniversary, I seen where he posted he was giving out free meals for the support of the people that been supporting him. And then last week I heard him say, "Hey, this was on Thursday morning." He was like, "Hey, I'm giving away 10 family Thanksgiving dinner." Um, so, and I was like, "Hey," I reached out to him. I said, "Man, look, we was gonna have him come on Thursday, but once I heard his testimony, I said, you know what? I'm gonna give you the whole show. We're gonna do a day just nothing but you, and we'll do the whole show for you to give your testimony, because when someone hear your testimony that may be struggling with the same thing that you went through. It's probably somebody listening right now that have did time in jail. They came out, had to get back in the game. Then they turned around. They have a person in their life trying to get and tuck them to church, but now they wrestling with God between church and the streets. So this can encourage someone by giving your testimony. And that's why I wanted you on the show, because I'm like, look, somebody need to hear this. And I don't need for you to come on and stay 10, 15 minutes. No, this is something we don't need to rush with. We need to be able to let you give your testimony and go from there. And I appreciate you for doing it. Now, as for the Thanksgiving giveaway, I don't know if you found your family or not. Have you found out 10 or?
No. Actually, we have about out of the 10 that we're ready to feed. We got like 5 families right now that we got locked in. So we're still looking for 5 families. If anybody's watching on here, we're providing free, right? We're providing free Thanksgiving dinners to 10 families that are low income or either no income, right? And then, even, and if we can't find the 10 families, we're gonna open it up to those that just want to try vegan, right? You know what I'm saying? It's coming out of Hope Boy's Kitchen, you know what I'm saying? And so we're asking, the community, those that are willing to participate with us, partner with us, because it costs about $60 per family, you know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, we're going to make sure that we provide for 10 families, whether people pitch in, or not, right? You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate those that have already began to just pour out and support and donate. I mean, as soon as even before I announced it, I just made a statement, that we was gonna do it, and people were already donating, $5 here, $10 here, you know what I'm saying? So it's not that you even gotta, take on a whole family by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Anything can help, $2, $3, $5, 10, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Could help out. It could go a long way as it pertains to feeding these 10 families, right? And so what is that Thanksgiving dinner going to look like? The Thanksgiving dinner is going to be a 12 by, I think it's 12 by 10 pan of meatloaf. And the meatloaf is bomb. Ooh, meatloaf bomb. It's bomb, right? And so it's going to be meatloaf. It's going to be a pan of collard greens. It's going to be a pan of dressing. It's going to be a pan of yams. It's going to be a pan of what else we got? Did I already say greens?
Yes.
Greens. We're going to have cranberry sauce. We're going to have sweet potato pie. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they're going to get cheated for Thanksgiving. I promise you. You know what I'm saying? Because how we prepare our food in Hope Boy's Kitchen is like how your mama and them prepared they food, how Big Mama and them prepared theirs. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? We don't believe in sending our food out of our kitchen without no season on it.
Exactly.
Let me just say that, right? And so we make sure that our food is very flavorful. So I mean, even if you're not vegan, guess what? You will still enjoy the food that we prepare, because I guarantee you, maybe 40% of the customers that I serve, they not vegan. 40% of them. They ain't vegan. So I mean, that's a huge compliment to what we're trying to do. So I mean, there are several ways that you could reach out to us and partner with us if you desire to partner with us. We're just trying to make sure that we're doing what God has called us to do for such a time as this, because just because Thanksgiving is great for you doesn't mean that it's great for somebody else. And all we're trying to do is make sure that we are providing some wholesome, healthy, healthy as well, not just healthy, but healthy. They gonna put something on you, right? You know what I'm saying? Some healthy meals. And so that's all we trying to do during this season is just make sure that, 10 families is not a lot, right? You know what I'm saying, as it pertains to what's going on in the midst of the world right now and how the, unemployment rate is ridiculous, right? And so, I mean, I know that families are hurt. And so my plea to you is if you know a family that is in need of a full meal for Thanksgiving, you could hit me up. You can catch me on Facebook, message me on Facebook, Rico Alexander. You can hit me up on Instagram, Dope Boy the Hope Boy on Instagram. You can reach out to me on my website, hopeboyinc.com. There's several ways you can hit me up. You know what I'm saying? 972-904-7537. You can't miss me. You know what I'm saying? So you can reach out to me and I'll be sure to get back with you. People have already been donating to the Cash App. I'm only really wanting to just take money through the Cash App because the reality is, I mean, I want to make sure that money is set aside just for that, right? I don't want to mix and mingle with monies and things of that nature, right? This is just going to be allocated, right, just for that, and I can make sure that it's separated. And so you can reach my Cash App at $ Rico Hope Boy, Rico Hope Boy, $ Rico Hope Boy. You can reach out to me if you want to make a donation, $2, $3, $5, $10, or whatever, right? Or you can even take up a whole family, $60, right? And that's what a few people have already done. They just said, hey, just let me go ahead and take on the whole family. You know what I'm saying? So any of y'all that's watching that have already donated, whether it's $2 to $120, you know what I'm saying? Thank you. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and we're gonna make sure that these families are taken care of. We're gonna make sure that we're doing our part because this is not just about selling food. This is a ministry for us as well, right? And we just want to make sure that we are always in touch with our community, making sure that we're reaching back to our community. Because guess what? I came out of that mud. I came out of that same community. I came out of that hood. I came out of that dirt. You know what I'm saying? And so for me not to reach back and try to be a blessing to somebody, shame on me, right? You know what I'm saying? I never forget where I come from. I never forget the mud that God pulled me out of. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we do what we do. We're a different type of vegan kitchen than other folks are. You know what I'm saying? Because this thing could just be all about money, and no, it ain't just about money. No, because my people deserve healthy options. And guess what? They may not have the money to buy their own food this Thanksgiving. And guess what? We're gonna try to make sure that we provide for them. That's what this is about, man. And so I appreciate everybody that has reached out and that has made any type of contribution to Hope Boy's Kitchen, that even purchased a meal. You know what I'm saying? That goes towards even making sure that families are fed, because the more finances and resources that we get, the more that we can do for our community. So that's just what it is, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I hold this, to look here. I hold this dear, you know what I'm saying, from a dope boy, because I know what I done to the streets. I know how I disrupted. I know how I tore up the streets. I know what I done. So now it's on me to repair, you know what I'm saying, some of the stuff that I done destroyed. You know what I'm saying? And so I just thank God for giving me another chance to, even make an impact on my community, because I could have died, you know what I mean? I could have got shot even when I was shot at. I didn't have to make it out. I didn't have to make it out of prison, but God said, hey, no, I ain't done with you. There's plenty more business that you got to do, young man. So, hey, I'm gonna put that on my back and I'm gonna tote it, bro. That's just what it is right now, and I just want to make sure that my community know that we here, and we here for them, not just for ourselves.
Exactly. Had a couple of comments to come in. I also put your Cash App up, Rico Hope Boy. Reverend Andre Anderson said, what church does Rico attend?
Friendship West Baptist
Come on
Church,
now,
man.
you already
Yeah,
know.
the great Reverend
The
Dr.
Reverend
Frederick
Dr.
Douglass
Frederick
Haynes
D.
the
Haynes the
third.
third.
Yes, sir.
Um,
You know that's and I appreciate Dr. Haynes, man. I appreciate my pastor, man, because
man,
he has really helped me to form an identity. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to this church world, because this church world can be so judgmental and and just hypocritical, and so I appreciate that he has, opened up my eyes to just see, the church realm from a different perspective, and I can still be myself and not detach where I come from, right? Or where I came from, because the reality is when I first got into the church world and I was trying to change my life, I was embarrassed, I was ashamed, I was, disgusted at myself. I regretted everything that I had done, and I was ashamed to even go around people. And and when they talked about jail, or when they talked about anything of that nature, I would go the other way because I was so ashamed. I was afraid that something was gonna leak out. You know what I'm saying? I was like, and they was gonna get out of the church. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I just tried to avoid it at all costs, man. And then it came to a point to where God was like, "No, bro, no, I allowed you to go through this for a reason. That you go tell your story." And I'm like, "What?" And it was that real. You know what I mean? It was just like, "No, stop running. No,
exactly.
you ain't running no more. So tell your story. I allowed you to live through it. Now you can go tell somebody so that they can live through it. And that's what this is all about, man. I'm just trying to show somebody or tell somebody that, bro, it's a different way that you can do this. You ain't got to do it that way. So I
Exactly.
mean, that's what From a Dope Boy to a Hope Boy is all about, man. I've thank God for converting me from a dope boy to a hope boy. Now that I try to provide hope in every situation that I find myself in. You know what I'm saying? We do that through apparel, right? You know what I'm saying? When you purchasing food and things of that nature, right? You know what I'm saying? You can always, hey, you got one of them bracelets, because listen here, I will hope you to help. You understand me? If you
Exactly.
follow along, I'ma hope you to help. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got hope for yourself. Guess what? I'ma hope for you. You know what I'm talking about? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Um, had a couple of comments to come in. Eva Donkey said, "Hey, what's up? Your buddy got dope looking beard." Um, T
Appreciate
Cal,
it. I need a cup. Appreciate it.
yeah, I had to cut mine off. It was rough. T Cal said that was nice of you, Eva. I'm glad you're on a good behavior tonight. We gotta
Me
kind of watch.
too.
We have to read Eva comments before you say anything. But he
Oh
been good
Lord.
the last couple of shows.
Thank you,
Um,
Eva.
Reverend Anderson said FWBC. Then he also said, "Amen." T Cal said, "Real talk, keep doing God work, man. Be blessed." Next level HR solution, man. She actually said, "May God continue to bless your ministry and its work in the community." Um, so definitely continue doing what you're doing, and if you have any hope for somebody that is doing wrong, that is trying to get out of that game, that probably have or haven't done time in jail, but looking at trying to make a change to get out of it. What encouraging words would you tell them as for ways they could get out of it? Because I know you had a trucking company. You also have your clothing line, and you also have Hope Boy Kitchen. Um, so what would you tell someone that is struggling, that want to get out the dope game, but unable to, or feel like they unable to, because you can get out if you really want to?
Right.
What
Uh,
encouraging word would you tell them?
uh, first of all, if there's anybody like listening tonight, right, and you on the fence, the simple fact that you're able to be on the fence is a blessing, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you really don't have to be here anymore, right? You know what I'm saying? You could be just an afterthought. So the mere fact that you are on the fence is really a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Because that, for me, right, that means that God still has a purpose for your life. Because anytime that your purpose is over, anytime you fulfilled your purpose, there's no need for you to exist here no more, not on this side. You know what I'm saying? So the mere fact that you're still here, that means that God still has a purpose for your life, right? That's number one for me, right? And so if you on the fence, you know what I'm saying, and you want to leave that lifestyle, you got to make your mind up, right? Because listen here, we can pray to God all we want to. We can ask God to do this, ask God to do that. But some things you're going to have to do, right? You're going to have to take initiative to like say, hey, I'm done. And that's for me, I was at a breaking point. I was at a crossing the road, right? I was like, hey, what am I going to do? Am I willing to continue down this pathway to die, or to even face more time that I can handle? Or am I willing to take a risk to give it up and try something new, right? And so I chose the route to like give it up, going against everything that I've known, everything that I've learned. I went against all of that, you know what I'm saying? And so, but I had to make up in my mind first, like, hey, it ain't gonna work this way. I know what this route, I know where it's gonna lead me to, because I done been down that route, and so you have to make up in your mind that like, hey, I'm done, and you have to be committed to it. You know what I'm saying? Once you utter those words out of your mouth, I'm done. Now the commitment of those words have to come to play, right? You're gonna have to be committed. You're gonna have to be dedicated. You're gonna have to stand firm on what you just said. You know what I'm saying? Because those thoughts, they don't stop. So you have to like just continuously say, hey, I know what I'm committed to, and find your purpose. Right, because
Exactly.
you will never be content. You will never be sustained. You will never be fulfilled until you find the purpose that you've been sent here to fulfill. I promise you. You know what I'm saying? You got all time, big time, even pastors and preachers and teachers. I mean, they still ain't found their full purpose. You understand what I'm saying? And so they still are in term. Anytime that you don't find your purpose in life, you're never going to have the fulfillment of peace that you need. But soon as you find your purpose, and I can't tell you what your purpose is, I believe that comes from God. But once you have been exposed to it, and once it's been revealed to you, you start following that. You start making sure that you lining your ducks up, making sure that you taking care of your business, making sure that you removing yourself from certain circles. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the biggest things for me. I had to remove myself from certain circles that were continuously keeping me down this rabbit hole, right? I was on a trajectory to go back to the pen, and on a trajectory to death before I needed to go. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes you just gonna have to remove yourself from certain people, right? Certain places, and that's not always the easiest thing to do, In this road, sometimes it gets lonely, you know what I mean? But you have to trust, that what God has placed within you, that is for real. It ain't about no play. This ain't about fake, you know what I'm saying? No, this is about you being real, not just with God, but being real with yourself. Because guess what? There's two folk you ain't gonna never fool in this life. It's God and yourself.
Exactly.
You ain't gonna fool them two. You might fool us, but you ain't gonna fool God, and you ain't gonna fool yourself. So be real with yourself about what you want to do. Sit down and figure out some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's gonna come overnight, but sit down and write down some stuff. Sit down and think about some stuff. Remove yourself from some toxic environments, some toxic relationships, and things of that nature. And just sometimes you just gotta isolate yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? And get in that quiet place and be like, hey, okay, now I'm open. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just gotta, be in those dark places. Those dark places are for me, right? Those dark places are opportunities for God to shine the light as bright as it can be. You know what I'm saying? So if you take a flashlight outside in the daytime, it ain't gonna do you no damn good.
Exactly.
None.
None
that
whatsoever.
Flashlight is working at its best at midnight. You understand me? that player's like, that player's like working in them. So I mean, it's like, hey, we don't like those dark places. We don't like those pit holes. But guess what? That's a part of life, and we got to figure out a way to navigate around them. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you're an entrepreneur, you have an entrepreneur spirit, right? And I feel like if anybody listen to me, if you in the dope game, if you've been in the dope game, guess what? You've been an entrepreneur before. You understand me?
Exactly.
So it's in your blood. So there is a way out, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And you have to figure out if you want to get out, when you want to get out, how you want to get out, because there's multiple roadways. Because guess what? You don't have to get out.
It's so
I'm
true.
gonna say that again. You don't have to make it out. I didn't have to make it out, but God said, "Hey, I'm gonna let you out because I feel like there's something greater within you to, to do on this side." So find your purpose, folks. Just find your purpose, find your passion, what you love to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you're gonna be able to pull off that job tomorrow and things of that nature, but hey, start somewhere. Figure out
Exactly.
some stuff. Figure out some stuff,
And
You got time.
before we get up out of here, is it anything you're working on for the future that you would like to see?
Man, for me right now, as far as it pertains to Hope Boys Kitchen, man, I think I'm just really so focused on that aspect of my journey right now. Is that we're looking to obtain, food trucks, right? You know what I'm saying? And so we want to broaden this thing up, to where we're more accessible and making sure that we're more mobile, making sure that we can literally, if we want to, we can go where the people are, right? You know what I'm saying? In a real sense, and that's why I believe that I love driving. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in the transportation. I'm in the trucking business for a reason. I like to drive. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with driving. So for me, a food truck makes sense for me,
Yes.
right? Brick and mortar. Yeah, if I had to do that route, yeah, I mean, I would, right? You know what I'm saying? But for me, a food truck makes more sense. Right now, I mean, we're doing everything is home based right now. We're whooping up everything. Every meal is being prepared in my own personal kitchen right now. You know what I'm saying? And we, do pickup times. You know what I'm saying? And we pushing out, tons of orders each and every week. You know what I mean? And so for us, right, we're looking at resources and things of that nature to just try to obtain a food truck, maybe early next year, something of that nature, And so we're just trying to line our ducks up, man, to make sure that we're in right position for when that time comes, And so we're just look here, if we can start out with one food truck and turn it into 20, you know what I'm saying? We want to be obedient to what we feel like God is calling us to do for such a time as this. You know what I'm saying? And so, because our people, guess what? We need healthy options.
Exactly. And definitely check them out on Facebook, Instagram. When put it like this, when you see a small child eating those nachos, the video of it, you talking about a child. It have to be good because that little kid, he was eating a mess out those nachos. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't see the memo on that one. I might need some of those nachos, but exactly. So definitely follow my brother, and if you can donate, the Cash App is still up. $ Rico Hope Boy. Definitely hit him up and let's be a blessing to the family. And also, I know we talked about Pastor Haynes. I'm gonna tell you that's one of the greatest pastors that I know because when I came to Friendship West, I was tore up from the flow up. Had all type of stuff going on, but through his ministry, it changed my life completely around. So I appreciate him and the ministry that he do, and all the pastors that are on staff because all of them are pretty good. But
Can I say something right quick before we
sure.
hop off? I want to kind of, I guess, give a little bit more detail as far as like with the Thanksgiving giveaway. What we're trying to do, we're trying to make sure that we're receiving all the donations by next Friday. Uh, yeah, because that's a Friday before Thanksgiving. So we're trying to make sure that we receive all the donations by next Friday because the goal is to prepare the food Sunday and distribute it on Monday and Tuesday to the families. We want to do 5 families on Monday and 5 families on Tuesday. That's the goal, and so we want to make sure that we have all those that have a good intent to make a donation or contribute to Hope Boys Kitchen is in our endeavors to feed these families. We want to try to make sure that we can gather the finances by
The 20th.
Friday. Yeah, by the 20th, and we're gonna cook up the food Sunday, distribute it Monday, cook it up some more Monday, distribute it Tuesday. That's the goal.
And are you gonna deliver them to the family or?
I'm going to personally deliver them, or even if somebody else wants to help in the delivery, that's cool in the game too. You know what I'm saying? And so we're open to that as well. And so, like I said, we just want to make sure that we can get the food to the people, right? And some people don't feel like they want to go through all this and that to try to get a a meal or so we just gonna try to make sure we can take it directly to the people.
Well, that's a good thing. I really appreciate the work that you're doing and giving back to the community. We need to, I say all the time on the show, we need to take back our community and show love to our community. And that's what I feel that you're doing. You actually going out on where you went out on faith from the beginning by getting out of the dope game, and you trust God to lead and guide you. And here it is, 11 years later, you're still walking with him, or he's still, yeah, you still walking with him, and you hanging in there. So, um,
I'm doing the best I can.
but one thing I will tell the people, you know, just because you give your life to Christ doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's not going to be all peaches and cream at the beginning. You're going to be challenged. That's when you're really going to face challenges, but you have to keep fighting. Don't give up. Don't give up. If it's somebody that's thinking about giving up on trying to get out that business, keep going. Keep going. Don't give up. It will work out in the end. So I appreciate you, Rico. You have been listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I mean, Who You With Kurt Dog. This is Rico from Dope Boy to Hope Boy. Definitely follow him on all social media and try out this vegan food that he have. Telling you, when you look at the video, you can be like, is he selling today? I'm hungry. So, but definitely check him out. Reach out to him and encourage the brother. Encourage him. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. Reverend Anderson, T Cal, Eva Donkey, Next Level HR Solution out of Houston. Thank you for tuning in. Rhonda White. I don't know who else came in on Facebook. For some reason, it's not coming up on my stream, but I appreciate everyone for paying attention tonight, listening to this testimony. One last question, Rico.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever thought of writing a book to give your testimony?
Absolutely. I'll listen here, man. God has dropped a book in my spirit, man, and honestly, I've already got the outline right of the book, right. Each chapter I've already named each chapter, right. I just haven't yet put the pen to the paper and just went full throttle with it. But yeah, there's a book coming out of this, bro. You know, and so because I just believe that people people need to know that this is real, right? And because one of the things that I'm finding out with this generation, man, is that you can tell me about Jesus, you can tell me about God, but what has Jesus really done for you, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to make sure that I can be a living witness, a living testimony to show people that Jesus is real, man. At the end of the day, this is what I believe that God has done for me. This is what I believe that, you know, the pits, the storms that God has pulled me through. And just like God done it for me, guess what?
Yeah, do it for you.
God can do it for you too.
All right, that's good news. I can't wait until that book come out.
This, you know, this gonna be the title of the book, right? Huh?
From
This
dope
the title
boy,
right
to
here,
hope
from a
boy.
dope boy to a hope boy. That's the title. I mean, it's already in the making, bro. So we just need to put that pen to paper, man. So y'all keep me lifted up in your prayers on all these endeavors that we are attempting to do, man. So
Most definitely. Once again, I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. You have been listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog, with our special guest tonight, Rico Alexander, better known as from a dope boy to a hope boy. Y'all need to check him out. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and reach out to him. He have a testimony that can actually change your life. So until tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, I love each and every one of you. Until then, peace.